Hi, I'm Christian La Monte, the voice of Ignatz Victor in Seliph and Fire Emblem, and the director of One Punch Man Season 2, airing now on Toonami. I'm here with Anime Impulse. Let's have some fun. I enjoy voice acting the most. It's the most fun. It's the most free thing that I get to do. It's a very wonderful experience. It really, like, you open yourself up to a character and you sort of let that all flow through you, but without the pressure of a director of like, I'm holding all of this in my hand, please God, make it work. But I mean, I love doing all of it. I love getting to be a part of all of it in so many ways. I want this on the record now, here in video, everywhere. You can put a hashtag somewhere. Hashtag all girls are best girl. That is my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. It's true, it's earnest, I love them all. You asked me that on Reen's birthday. It is Reen's birthday today, and you asked me who my favorite Love Live girl is. It's all of them. I love them so much. I love the show because it really is that perfect expression of like friendship and joy. It's the same joy that I get out of like K-On! Or Lucky Star, and it's just like, these people just really like being around each other and they bring out the best in each other. If I absolutely had to pick someone, probably Nico. All girls are best girl. Hashtag all girls are best girl. Let's see, which of the three houses characters are as lovely as the goddess? Well, the goddess, of course. Everything circles around all girls are best girl. I love them all so much, I really do. They're all my precious children and I want to protect them and keep them safe. I love Flayn. I love Flayn's adorableness and her fun and her like constant little smirk anytime someone talks about things that like vaguely relate to her. She's always like, yeah, tell me more about that. I love Marianne. I love Marianne's utter sweetness, and the Ignatz and Marianne B support may be the greatest thing in the game. I really do. I love Bernie. I love Bernie hiding in her room constantly and being nearly deceived by cake. That is the biggest mood I've ever heard in my entire life. I want a Bernie and Ignatz ending. I don't know that it'll happen, but I want it. I want Bernie Ignatz supports. They would be precious. Oh, High School Christian was real emo. High School Christian probably would have gone with Blue Lions or Black Eagles. The thing that I like most about them is that they get to play to different parts of who I am. And I get to take that part and bring it to the forefront. Like when I play Ignatz, I get to take like my artist and the soft side and all that sort of like the sweet wholesomeness of that and bring that to the front and be like, he wants to be loved and cared for, and he wants people to respect him and care about the things he does. And it's nice to be able to take all that and put that into a forward emotion. There's a scene in Three Houses where, and it's not a scene everybody will get, but spoilers, I guess, if you're gonna get there, but Ignatz's S support. He has this line when he talks to the professor on the Goddess Tower about, you never talked down to me. You never looked down on me or disrespected me because of what I love and what I care about and what's important to me. And I lost it. I just started crying in the booth. I was weeping. It was, and like Patrick and Chris and Danny, the engineer at KPOP, and they were just like, they were trying to hold on, like I could see it through it. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I blew this take. We're gonna keep going through it. I can do this. And I just like cried my way through the rest of that support. And afterwards, Patrick got on the talkback and he's like, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. And then he came in with like a tissue and a hug, and I collapsed for a good minute and a half. But like, it means a lot. And I think it's something that a lot of creative people, a lot of people who do want to dedicate their lives to this really should hear. You know, that there are people who will love you for this, and where that is important to them, and you can be free and open with them in that way. So that's some of the stuff I really like about being a part of Fire Emblem in that way. I've been listening to a lot of Ninja Sex Party, which is Danny from Game Grumps and Brian from Game Grumps Band, and it's real fun and silly, and like all the songs are like jokey songs, sex, but like underneath it all, they're like these really incredible musicians. My four main genres of music is I like metal, and I like K-pop, and I like musicals and game soundtracks. So all of that is constantly circling in my mind at one time or another. I'm playing Subnautica, which haunts me in the night constantly because it's terrifying. It's so terrifying. I don't know why I decided to do this to myself. I'm so easily scared. I'm scared of everything. I'm really jumpy all the time, constantly. And I'm just like, I'll play this game that scares me. That'll be really fun. And then I'll stream it, and that'll be even more fun. It's bad. Why am I playing this nightmare fuel game? Oh God! Holy mother
What the f? Jesus Christ! Oh shit! What the f is that? Oh god! Oh my god! Oh god! Holy shit! Oh god! Oh god in heaven!
But outside of that, in order to balance that out and have fun, I've been playing a lot of really old RPGs. I've been playing like Suikoden and Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions again, and Persona, because Persona is the greatest game of all time. I'm into Twice a lot. I like Fancy, it makes me smile. Plus there's a lot of 3S memes about like Hilda digging Twice and stuff like that, and that makes me smile. I don't know, I stand them all. All girls are best girl. Hashtag all girls are best girl. Terrible. My gacha luck is terrible. I just want Hilda to come home. Hilda, Hilda, Hilda. God, I've always been a nerd. I've always been such a giant nerd. As soon as I picked up Harry Potter, I think I read that book in a day the first time I got it. I couldn't put it down. And they had just created this world of magic and wonderment and amazingness. It was the coolest thing I'd ever read. So from there, I was like, I'm gonna read everything that has magic in it ever, and everything that has a school in it ever. And that, God, that made me so happy when we were talking about Fire Emblem Three Houses the first time. They're like, so it takes place in this school, and you're all learning magic, and I was just like, yes! Patrick was just like, it's kind of like Hogwarts, and I'm like, yes! This is the greatest thing I've ever been a part of! So yeah, I'm a little bit in Harry Potter, in my head. It's a question I get asked a lot, because right up there with all girls are best girl, it's a thing that I'm really bad at answering. Originally, when I was younger, I was like, I'm a Ravenclaw, 100% books, that's my jam. And then as I grew a little older than that, I was like, but Hermione was also about books and is also perfect. So, I don't know, I could probably see myself in Gryffindor. I was flying back from a con with Christine Cabanos, who's Madoka and all of these other really amazing, wonderful things. She's incredible and one of my favorite people in the world and one of the kindest, sweetest people in the world. So we were flying back on a plane and we talked for like 2.5 hours and we talked about Harry Potter a lot because we're both giant dorks. She was like, so did you take the test on Pottermore, which apparently is the official test. Apparently that's how it has to go. And I was like, no, because I'm afraid that if I do, it'll come up with a house that I'm not crazy about. And she's like, you have to take it, you have to take it. And I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't know. She wouldn't let up on it. And like for 3 or 4 days afterwards, I would get texts just like, take the test, take the Pottermore test. So finally, I had nothing to do one morning and I was like, all right, I'll take the Pottermore test. And I took the test and I answered as earnestly as I possibly could have. And a little later, and I was like, oh, hey, I took the Pottermore test. And she was like, oh, really? What did it say? And I was like, well, that's the thing. It kind of said Slytherin. And she looked me dead in the eyes. And I have never seen this level of like, it was like hollow inside and just dead in the eyes, straight on. And she was just like, take it again, Christian. There's a couple of good ones, some that make no sense, where Patrick once, I think during Fire Emblem, was like, I need that with 2 fewer birds. I was like, what does that mean? How does that, what sort of, what? Okay, And he was like, perfect, next cue. My writing inspirations are Robert Jordan, who wrote the Wheel of Time series, which is, he's just so incredible at like really filling his world with detail and life and creativity. J.K. Rowling, because Harry Potter is the greatest thing ever to exist. Honestly, Patrick is definitely one of my writing inspirations especially for when I'm working on dubs and scripts and stuff like that, because he has taken some of the greatest and most intense stories in anime and games and really just crafted them into something beautiful. Like Your Lie on Anohana would be completely different if it weren't for Patrick. And the real dork answer is Shakespeare, because I am a giant nerd. And you don't get much better than like the guy who kind of taught the world how plays work. It's a very cheesy thing to say, but in a weird way it has been the saving grace of my life. I guess brief story time. I used to work at Atlas Games, so I worked on a bunch of Persona stuff, which I loved and was amazing, and I worked on a bunch of like Devil Survivor stuff, and I really loved it. I was so happy to be working in video games, which I loved, and I annoyed them into giving me the job testing, and then when I had the job testing, I annoyed them into giving me a job writing. And they put me on Devil Survivor 2 Record Breaker, which is beautiful if you haven't played it. And we went up for voice record. They were like, hey, Christian, you've been in studios before, you've done a little bit of voice work. And I'm like, yeah, I've done a little bit here and there. And they decided that I was going to be the representative from Atlas that they were going to send, me and one of the translators, to make sure that like when Japanese stuff happened. I wasn't just like, I don't know what that means, I just wing it and make it sound pretty. I remember as I was driving up there was a lot going on in my head. It was a big, huge step for me, and it was at that point where I could really decide, like, hey, do I want to write video games like this for the rest of my life? Do I want to localize? Do I want to move in that direction? Or is there something else that I really love too, that I want to be a part of? And I remember on that day we pulled into KPOP, which is where we did Fire Emblem and so many other things, and we were ready to like buckle down for 3 months of this recording, and I walk in and I meet Danny and Lainey, who are the owners of KPOP and the best, nicest people you could ever meet. And we walked into the studio where we were going to be for a while, and sitting there was Patrick. And I'd heard Patrick in stuff before, obviously, because you can't not hear Patrick. And I walked over and introduced myself, and he introduced himself and stuff like that. And that changed so much of what I was going to do and be with my life. I sat down next to him, and we started working on the game. For the first day, I was so precious, and so, like, all my words, like, I crafted this and I made it perfect. And sometimes things don't work. Sometimes an actor can't say those 2 letters together. Sometimes that's really long or really repetitive. And Patrick, he got it. He understood everything, and he immediately clicked with how the story worked and how everything sort of pushed and moved in the sense of a voice recording session. And he welcomed me into it, and he showed me this whole new world of voice recording for anime and video games and these things that I'd loved and observed and been a part of and been like, oh, that'd be cool, but I'd never really thought about as a possibility, despite all my years of doing other acting and stuff like that. And over the course of 3 months, we got to be really good friends, and he gave me a lot of advice about my life and how to, what I was going to do with it. And finally, at the very end of it, we're sort of shaking hands or hugging by that point. This has been really great. It's been 3 months. Wow, we've done so much stuff. And he's like, you're good at this. You're good at writing this. You're good at directing. You know how to convey the feelings. And when we put you in the booth, you're good at that too. And if you're happy down there at Atlas, and if you like doing that, great. And I'll be excited to see you every time you come up from that. But if you want to do this, if you want to come up here and this is the fun part, and this is the part that you like and you care about, then come up here. And I'll help you. And Danny and Lainey love you, and they'll help you. And we'll make this a part of your life. And so it is. Thanks so much for watching my interview. You can keep up with me on Twitter at Writing Madness, and on Twitch at Count of La Monte Cristo. We're playing games that scare me right now, and old RPGs where I do all the voices. It's a lot of fun and really silly. But yeah, come hang out. I'd love to see you guys.